It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, let's move on to Seth's question. Should I prioritize saving for a down payment on my first house or saving for the future of my children's college? My spouse and I save 25% for retirement and have a desire to fully pay for kids' college one day. So how should he go about parsing through what the priority is? Can he do both? What do you guys think?
So, okay, we have to be careful here not to project our own biases onto you. I'm going to give us that disclaimer right now because at the end of the day, the purpose of money is to help you do the things that are most important to you. So you have to answer the question, what do we want our money to do? What are the things that matter to us? What do we value in this life in terms of experiences? And if you say our top value is to be able to put our kids through college, then you need to kind of think through that and the costs that come with that. However, if the thing that you say is, hey, I value being able to have a home to house my family in the long term before they get to college, then there's a different line of thinking that you ought to go through. So with that, Brian, how would you answer it?
Well, I kind of feel like I'm Grandpa Brian at this point, and the fact that I've house decision making, I feel like I've been a big bully. So I don't think grandpas are bullies, but but in a positive way.
This is a good bully.
Because Bo, you're now like you have all this real estate success and other things, but I can still remember when you and I are working together. You find out that your wife is pregnant, and I'm like, go buy a house. I was like, look, you need to go ahead and nest. You need to buy a house. Because I think you were planning on kind of winging it. Now, you'd already bought a house, but you'd moved to a new community.
Yeah,
and you were thinking
new here.
to rent in this new community for a while.
Move from a three bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom apartment to a 3-bedroom apartment. That was my solution.
So we nudged, and then I think about Rebe.
No.
Rebe, she's like, oh man, it's so tight. We're trying, me and my, I won't say her husband's name, but we were trying to figure things out, and I was like, go buy a house. And we kind of nudged because here's what we give you the grace with, because you've already shared, Seth, that you are saving and investing 25%. We give you the grace on your first house that you can do 3 to 5% as the down payment. We give you a lot of grace on that, so that means you can get a lot with a little, but you have to go through the gauntlet of decision matrix of the fact that you can't move for 5 to 7 years. Go ahead and make sure this decision you're making is a 5 to 7 year decision, because buying a house and then moving 2 years from now, maybe that works because the economy is growing. The inflation and cost of real estate is going up. But a lot of times that is a horrible disaster because the friction cost of real estate, a lot of people with their hands in the cookie jar between attorneys, real estate agents, and everybody else who's working on it. So that's why it has to be a 5 to 7 year decision, because you have to have enough time to overcome all the friction costs as well as any fluctuation in values of real estate. But overall, I think, Seth, you have the opportunity, if you use that, you potentially could still be saving and investing 20+%, get into the house of hopefully that will raise your family, and then still, maybe it takes you a year. Maybe it takes 18 months to 2 years, but I think, in a very short-term basis, you'll be able to then also save for college. But I would probably focus on that homestead, getting a place, that shelter, because there's nothing better than, because every time I've bought a house, there's always this, oh my goodness, what have I done to myself? What have I done to my family? And then you look back 2 or 3 years and go, what was I so worried about? This all worked out. And look, I've made some decisions where my second house down in South Atlanta, the only reason I was able to sell it without writing a check is because I'd prepaid all my negative equity, by being on a 15-year mortgage and paying it down aggressively, because I've made bad real estate decisions with my home, but still felt like, even though financially it didn't look good on paper, it was still the place that I met neighbors, that I raised my daughters, and had a sense of community. And, and I still think about my neighbor stealing all my blueberries, because we planted blueberry bushes. Those things, these are the fabric things that you don't do that stuff on a rental house typically, where you're planting blueberry bushes and all the other stuff that comes with it. So go out there and Seth, I'm a proponent, if you do it the right way, of home ownership.